me see what this next one is here. Praise 6:15. Not sure if you want to get into this tonight concerning, the Christmas birthday lie, Luke 1:26 and 49. Let's go there. Let's see. Luke chapter 1. 26 and 49. I don't even know if I know this, what you're talking about here, Praise. That's not saying a whole bunch there, but let's see here. Okay. And in the 6th month, the messenger Gabriel, that is the archangel Gabriel, was sent by Elohim to a city of Galilee named Nazareth. So, and in the 6th month, we know the 6th month is not the 6th month known as June. This is the 6th month known as what we would know, which would be equivalent to late July and September, late July and August is the 6th month according to Yah's calendar. Okay, the 6th month. To a virgin or a maiden engaged to a man whose name is Joseph, of the house of David. And the maiden or virgin's name was Miriam. You may know her as Mary, right? And the messenger, this angel coming to her, said, "Greetings, favored one, the master is with you. Baruch are you among women." But she was greatly disturbed at his word and wondered what kind of greeting this was. And the messenger said to her, "Do not be afraid." So Mary was startled. She was startled to see the archangel Gabriel. "Miriam, for you have found favor in Elohim, with Elohim, and see, you shall conceive in your womb and shall give birth to a son and call his name Yahusha. He shall be great and shall be called the Son of the Most High. And Yahuwah, the Mighty One, shall give him the throne of his father David. And he shall reign over the house of Yaakov forever, and there shall be no end to his reign." And Miriam said to the messenger, "How shall this be, since I do not know a man?" And the messenger answering and said to her, "The Ruach HaKodesh, aka the set-apart spirit, shall come upon you, and the power of the Most High shall overshadow you. And for that reason, the set-apart one born of you shall be called Son of Elohim. And see, Elizabeth, your relative, she has also conceived a son in her old age, and this is now the 6th month to her who was called barren." So let me stop right there. So from what we're getting here, it sounds as if Yohanan the Immerser was conceived in Elizabeth's womb at the beginning of the year, what we would call spring equinox. And so 6 months after that, Miriam, is now about to conceive through the Ruach HaKodesh 6 months after, which again, like I said, is between the end of July and mid part of August. So let's continue. "Because with Elohim no matter shall be impossible." And Miriam said, "See, the female servant of Yahuwah, let it be to me according to your word." And the messenger went away from her. And Miriam arose in those days and went into the hill country with haste to the city of Yehuda, and entered into the house of Zechariah and greeted Elisheba. And it came to be, when Elisheba heard the greeting of Miriam, that the baby leaped in her womb, and Elisheba was filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, and called out with a loud voice and said, "Baruch are you among women, and Baruch is the fruit of your womb. And who am I that the mother of my master should come to me? For look, when the sound of your greeting came to my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Baruch is she who believed, for that which Yahuwah has said to her shall be accomplished." And Miriam said, My being makes Yahuwah great, and my spirit, my Ruach, has rejoiced in Elohim, my Savior. Notice what she says. She calls the Mighty One her Savior, because he looked on the humiliation of his female servant. For look, from now on, all generations shall call me Baruch. For he who is mighty has done wonders for me, and set apart is his name. And his compassion is from generation to generation to those who fear him. He did mightily with his arm. He scattered the proud in the thought of their hearts. He brought down rulers from their thrones and exalted the lowly. He has filled the hungry with righteous items, or pleasant items, and the rich he has sent away empty. He sustained Yasharal, his servant, in remembrance of his compassion, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever. And Miriam stayed with her about 3 months. Okay, so let's stop there. So remember, Elisheba was already 6 months into her pregnancy. 3 months later, women, my sisters, that means she must have stayed there until the birth of Yohanan the Immerser and returned to her home. So let's think about this for a second. Let's just say August, September, October, November. So that means in the 9th month, Yohanan the Immerser was born at the end of fall, because winter doesn't start until almost at the end of December. And so by this point, that would make the Mashiach 3 months in her belly, in Miriam's belly. So that means we have 6 more months to go before the Mashiach was born, right? So let's do some math here. Hold on 1 second. I gotta plug in my laptop because it was starting to drain. Okay, so I'm just going to do the math on my fingers here. So 3 months, November. So we'll go December, January, February, March, April, May. So that puts him around the time what we would call Shabuot, or the Feast of Weeks. That's interesting. I never really looked into that before, but that's very interesting. So it sounds as though, wow, do you know what was given on the Feast of Weeks? Does anybody know what was given on Shabuot? What's the significance of the Feast of Weeks, Shabuot? Anyone? Why do we celebrate the Feast of Weeks? Somebody knows. I know one of you guys know. Nope, not the New Year. The Torah. Thank you, DD. The Word. The Word was given. Yes, and the Ruach HaKodesh was also given. Exactly. So 2 things happened, and so now it sounds like there's 3, and I'm going to have to look into this, and I'm actually kind of doing this together with you guys right now, since our sister had me read this. This is awesome. This is beautiful. So we know that the 6th month, and this, I'm going to pull up my calendar. Let's do this real quick. Oh, this is beautiful. Let me take this off of my... Yes, praise. Thank you for that. So let's do this here. Hold on 1 second. Let's minimize those. Pull up the calendar. Okay. So let's do this. So this is the 1st month. And just going by what we read in Luke, we're going to go to the 6th month. Okay. So the 6th month, here's Kadash 6. And as I was saying earlier, on the pagan month, it would be late August, okay? And that would take us into the beginning of September, right? So 6 months. So this could be that, and we're not told exactly when, let me see here. Let's read that back. Let's just see. Let's just make sure. What does it say here? Let's go back to the other page. And in the 6th month, so it doesn't tell us what day of the 6th month. It just said, in the 6th month, the messenger Gabriel was sent by Elohim to a city of Galilee named Nazareth. So he went to Nazareth, and that's where Mary was at, to this virgin who was engaged to Joseph, okay, of the house of David. So Joseph was from the house of David, okay. So 6 months. So that's what we're told. So this is the 6th month. So she goes over to Elizabeth's house, which is the mother of John the Mercer. And we know that she stayed there 3 more months. Okay, so that takes us to the 9th month. The 9th month, again, is in November. Do we have anything significant in the 9th month? We do not. So he was born sometime in the 9th month, other than just the beginning of the month, which is Rosh Chodesh, which is the first day of the month, which we have a Rosh Chodesh every month. And John could have been born on that day, possibly. Okay. Again, we're not making it into, we don't want anyone over here starting to follow these days and be like, oh, I'm going to celebrate this day for John the Baptist. Let us not do any of that. But now we know that this is 3 months. So now let's go 6 months more, because we know the gestation period of us being in our mother's womb is 9 months, right? If we're carried to term. So 3 months. So we have 12 months. That's 6 months, right? So now we want to go back to the 3rd month. And I just got to wait for it to populate. What month is this? This looks like the 2nd month. So we want the 3rd month. We want this one. Okay, come on, computer. Let's go. Okay, 3rd month. This is what I'm saying. The Messiah could have been brought, and again, this is just speculation. It's just speculation. The 9th month, that the creator of the universe and everything that's in it, and again, we don't believe in an outer space. So when I say universe, I'm not talking about outer space. I'm talking about everything, the heavens and the earth, okay? So here we are with Shavuot, also known as the Feast of Weeks, also known as Pentecost. It was the day that the law was given on Mount Sinai. It was also the day in Acts chapter 1 that we read about the day of Pentecost. The law was given. And so it could be that we were given the word at that time as well, the Messiah coming in the flesh. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Wow. Yep, I just learned something new today. So regardless, we know that the Mashiach was most likely brought to us in the 3rd month of the year. I can't say specifically that it was Shavuot, but it seems like that might be the case. So thank you, Praise. Oh, you're a man. My bad. See, bad Jimmy. I do that so many times. I call the sisters brothers and brothers sisters. I say I'm not going to try to put a gender on anyone, but for some reason with Praise and 615 and your icon, I think my brain just assumed that you were a sister. Apologies. Yes, Becky. Enoch 32, short chapter. Can definitely do that. I know you guys are laughing at me. I hope you guys are laughing with me and not at me. Okay, let's go here to Enoch 32. Let me grab my Apocrypha. Okay. Okay, so we're looking for Enoch 32. All right, this actually opens up to the center of my book, and you can see a little glossiness to it. I had to put tape on there because it was just breaking at the seams there. Look at that. But anyhow, okay, 32. Here we go. Let me bring this down. Yes, Grace. Grazy Ladies. I think that's how you say your name. Grazy's Lady. Yes, just DM me and I will get your email from you, or give me your email when you DM me and just request that you want the calendar PDF and I will send it to you. Oh, that is how I say. Okay, perfect. All right. And oh, you can? That's awesome, NM. That's beautiful. Okay. Chapter 32 of the book of Enoch, also known as Enoch. And after these fragrant odors, as I looked towards the north over the mountains, I saw 7 mountains full of choice nard and fragrant trees and cinnamon and pepper. And then I went over the summits of all these mountains far towards the east of the earth, and passed above the Euphratean Sea, and went far from it, and passed over the angel Zotial. And I came to the garden of righteousness, and saw beyond those trees many large trees growing there, and of wonderful fragrance, large and very beautiful, and splendorous. I'm trying not to say this is a. For those of you who don't know, Glory or Gloria is a pagan deity, which is why I was trying to think of another word. Splendorous, and the tree of wisdom, wherefore they eat and know great wisdom. So this is the tree of knowledge and evil, it sounds like, right? And the tree of wisdom, whereof they eat and know great wisdom. Let's continue. That tree is in height like the fir, and its leaves are like those of a carob tree, and its fruit is like the clusters of the vine, very beautiful, and the fragrance of the tree penetrates afar. Then I said, how beautiful is the tree, and how attractive is its look. Yep, this is that tree. I remember reading this before. Then Raphael, the set-apart angel, or the messenger, who was with me, answered me and said, this is the tree of wisdom, of which your father of old in years and your aged mother who were before you have eaten, and they learned wisdom, and their eyes were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out from the garden. Yes. Exactly, Becky. Exactly. What's so amazing is when I read this before, I was like, well, what fruit is that? And we always try to think of maybe what tree that could be, but I truly believe that tree doesn't exist as a fruit on this planet, or here I am saying planet, on this earth, on this plain earth. I think it's kind of like similar to maybe like a pomegranate. When you crack open a pomegranate, it's got all those little beautiful red ruby jewels looking in there, That's my favorite fruit, by the way, but I thought I would just say that. But yeah, I don't know what that is, and I don't think it's probably on this earth at all. Schwank, Cain married one of his sisters. He took one of his sisters and left. In fact, let me see. Let me see. I'm trying to remember where it is that I remember reading that. Was that in the book of Jasher? Or was it in the book of Jubilees? I think it's Jasher. Let's see. Okay, 4:9. Is this where we're going to find Cain took his sister? Let's see. Okay, this is so brother Matthew, I think we might have found your answer here. Yep, here it is. Thank you. Who was that found that for us? Let me remember. That was Nemo. Thank you, Nemo. And Dee and Nemo, they found the passage for us. Because I knew I read it before, I just couldn't remember where. So here it is. Schwank, if you're still here, Aki. Jubilees chapter 4, verse 9 says, And Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his wife, and she bore him Kanok at the close of the 4th Yobelim. So there it is. You know, there's all kinds of rumors out there like, well, who did Cain take, and who's the person that's gonna supposedly unalive Cain? Was there other people on the earth? No, there was no other people on the earth. The only people that was on the earth was who Adam and Kahua had made, and then their children had children, and so on and so forth. Now, in our day, we look at that and we would say that that's incest, and you know, to that degree it is, but at the same time, the innocence back then is not like what we're dealing with today. And not only that, their DNA is a lot more pure back then, to where they wouldn't receive a lot of these defects that we see of people who are of the same bloodline. Hence why a lot of states still have, well, I don't know if a lot of states still do that, but back in the day, it used to be where you had to take a blood test before you can marry one another. Okay, TikTok. Because you said that, and you ain't trying to hear nobody out, and we're not trying to hear you, my friend, you are blocked. Yeah, we don't need no time for Islam in here, because we know Islam is not the truth. That was created by the Catholic Church, just like Christianity was created by the Catholic Church. Exactly, user. Got haters in here. Right. Phoenix started fasting as of this morning, or sunrise. Oh yeah, if any of you are on any kind of medication, do be careful. Yep, it is right. You're right, Henry. It is to be expected. For Allah, I see we got another Muslim in here. You know, I have no issues with you Muslims. I have an issue with your doctrine. Let me ask you this, since you're here, for Allah. You do know that Muhammad was illiterate, right? And you do know, Allah, that not only was he illiterate, but he couldn't even write. He couldn't read, nor could he write. You do know that, right, Allah? And so he had one of his so-called servants write down what the so-called Archangel Gabriel supposedly gave him to write down. Now, this is supposed to be the same Archangel Gabriel that came to Joseph and Mary, whom you even in your Quran state that you believe in the Immaculate Conception of the virgin birth of Yahusha, who you guys call Isa. You still there with me, Allah? Or did you walk away? I know, right, Jackie? I might have to do that. I think he must have left because he's not trying to hear this. Yeah, I think he did leave. It's all right. The truth does hurt, and they don't want to hear it. But this is why we're told that we need to make sure there is at least 2 or 3 witnesses. We cannot just take what one person says, like Joseph Smith, and start a religion called Mormonism. And that's exactly what happened to Islam, off of one person's so-called revelation. And now you got this other religion called Islam that's out there. But some people, because of them not adhering to the truth of the Basora and of the Tanakh of the Old Testament, and not listening to what the Creator says to let every word be established by 2 or 3 witnesses, that's how you go astray. You listen to one person, and that one person tells you, and if you listen to that one person like Joseph Smith came back and told all them people a lie, that he met an angel that came from the Creator. I'm sure he probably did meet an angel, but it wasn't a righteous angel. It was probably a fallen one, and his name was Moroni. And that Moroni angel gave him the Urim and the Thummim, as they like to say, these gold tablets that supposedly has another testimony of the Messiah, who they also call Jesus, and started a whole doctrine. And wouldn't you know it, they even called the Negroes, those who are the actual Jews of Scripture, and those who are actually the tribes of Israel, and called them that they were a lower form of life of humans, and that they could never enter into the kingdom because of their curse of their skin color. This is what Joseph Smith taught. I don't know if we have any Mormons here, but I'm sure you guys can validate what I'm saying for those of you who probably dibble-dabbled into Mormonism. But that's the whole reason why, like, there's another brother here, and I love the brother, but he shouldn't be teaching out of that Book of Mormon, and I don't know why he's doing that, which is so sad. And he's using the name Yahuwah and Yahusha, and he'll turn around and he opens up that Book of Mormon, which is straight evil, no different than the Quran. Should be cast into the lake. Yes, and they do it. They do it. And the sad thing is our people haven't been teaching our children the truth, like we were told in Deuteronomy chapter 6, that we are to teach them in the way when they're sitting down at the table, when we walk down the road. And this isn't only for the Yasharal, but also for the Gentiles who are now Israel. You need to do the same thing as Yasharal. You are to teach your children the Torah always. That way, when they get older, they'll remember these things. And when somebody comes with a false doctrine, they're going to be like, even if they don't follow, they're going to at least defend the truth and be like, that ain't the truth. I know what the truth is. And the truth is not that. Yep. Poison the people's mind. Is that right, NM? Well, you know what? Yahusha is doing a work in you, sister, just like he's doing a work in all of us, because the times are short. The times are short. What about the 2 sticks there, Louis? In Ezekiel? I love that passage in Ezekiel. Starting from chapter 36 going onward. Ruth Mara, the word Yeshua is actually an Aramaic term for salvation. The way it's pronounced, it's Yeshua. But again, the only one that we are to call upon is Yahusha, because he came in his Father's name. Oh, you did? For the first time 5 days ago? Wow. Okay, so someone said, can I read from Genesis chapter 3, verse 20, please? Okay, RD. Let me go there. Give me a second. Let me pull up my scriptures. Move the Apocrypha. I really enjoy having this time with you guys while we're doing this on this day as we're fasting. Okay, that was 320, correct? Let me make sure. Yep, 320. Okay. All right. right. And it reads, let me bring this down. And the man called his wife name, and we know it as Kahua, because she became the mother of all living. Was there anything that you wanted me to read out of that or to expound on? I actually pronounce her name Kahua. Some people pronounce it Kawa. This was from another lady's things. Oh, okay. It was for another lady. Okay, no worries, RD. Yes, so the name Kahua is the giver of life. If you notice, it's very similar. The last sounding of it is just like Yahuwah, Ua, Kawa. So let me pull this up in the Strongs. Let me pull it up here. Genesis 3:20. Okay, so you guys can see here, Kahua. We know there's no letter V's. That came from the Yiddish, but you see there, life giver. That's what her name means, life giver. And then we can go there to 2331. So let me click on that. Let me hold on a second. Click. And then go here to the dictionary. Once I click on it, any of you guys who use the eSword, that's how you pull it up in the dictionary. And then it shows it here. So now I'm going to go to 2331. A primitive root word compared to 33 or 2324 and 2421, properly to live, by implication intensively, to declare or to show or show. Okay. So Kahua. So how do we know the correct pronunciation? What's the source? Okay, so Redfoot, the thing is that we know that there's no letter O's, there's no letter E's, there's no letter I's, there's no letter V's, J, W. What else? I think I'm missing one. Because Hebrew has 22 letters, okay? And of course, English has 26. Now, even what I'm about to show you here, this has been contaminated with what we call Yiddish Hebrew. Yiddish Hebrew is the Jewish people who call themselves Jews. They have a Germanic Hebrew. Okay, so they gave us a lot of the what we call the vowel pointings, the Masoretic vowel points, the Nikud, and that has caused a lot of the controversy and a lot of the problems. But they tell you the sounds over here, okay, the last column over here. So they give you the lettering here. This is what we call modern block lettering Hebrew. This over here is late Hebrew or earlier Hebrew. This is middle, or what they call Paleo Hebrew. Both of these are Paleo Hebrews, okay? And then you also have pictograph Hebrew, which I don't have it here. I need to pull that up the next time. But it also tells you what they mean, which is why they have it here. It's called pictor or pictograph. So like the Aleph, this is very a lot like the modern Hebrew, which is this one over here. Okay, this is the letter A. But if you notice, this same lettering that they use for the letter A, they give it an E sound when they say Elohim, which is wrong. It's a letter A for a reason. This is where we get the word alphabet in our English language. Aleph, bet is the first two letters of the Hebrew. Okay, alpha, bet, and we say it more towards like the Greek, because the Greek say alpha and omega. But the Greek got it from the Hebrew, because that's the original language of all mankind. Aleph, bet, and that's not supposed to be an E there. That should be a A-L-A-P-H, Aleph. And same thing here. That should not be an E. That should be an A, bait. Aleph, bait. Okay. Yeah, so Aramaic, Redfoot, is another dialect of Hebrew. It's Hebrew as well, but Aramaic is a dialect. It'd be like in English, where we would say somebody who lives in New York, they have a certain accent, and then you go down to somewhere like in Louisiana, where they have that Creole sound. They're still speaking English, but they pronounce words different. I'll give you an example. Like if I write this, let me write this down here. This is the one I always like to use because it's kind of funny, but okay. All of you, I'm sure, pronounces this as Houston, right? All of you probably pronounce this Houston, like the city Houston in Texas. Well, there's areas in Georgia where they don't pronounce that Houston. They pronounce that as Houston. Okay, like where I used to live in Georgia, outside of Macon, which is the capital. Or no, Athens is the capital. Or is it Macon? I can't remember now. It's been so long. Anyways, there's a county there, and they say Houston County. They don't say Houston. So when I moved there, because my dad was in the Air Force, and we stayed over there, and I said Houston County, the locals there was laughing at me, right? They said, it's pronounced Houston. I'm like, oh, my bad. I didn't know. So it's the same thing with Aramaic. Aramaic has different pronunciations for different words. And one of them is like what was said earlier, Yeshua. Yeshua is an Aramaic word for a salvation. Yeah, that's how they would say it. Yaakova, Houston. Yep. And that's how they pronounced it. And boy, they gave me slack for that for weeks. Since my buddies that was doing that to me, they thought it was so funny. He said Houston. I was like, yeah, well, you know, in Texas, that's how we say it. It's Houston. We don't say Houston, Texas. So how do we know which dialect to use? Okay, well, we know Hebrew is the original, so that is where you would want to go by default, because Aramaic came later. That was not the original. Mm-hmm. And there's people who are assuming that the Messiah spoke Aramaic. However, I highly doubt that. Only reason because he is the Word manifested in the flesh, and he came to his people, and those people spoke Hebrew. They were Hebrews of the Hebrews, just like what we read about Paul earlier in Galatians. He called himself a Hebrew of Hebrews. You can look this up, CYD. Just pull up this one here. I just typed into Google or Chrome, the search engine, and just put in Paleo Hebrew and or a Hebrew lettering chart, and it'll give you multiple different ones. I chose this one because I just kind of liked it. It was just more complete. But you'll see this one there as well. Oh, is that right, JP? Houston. Yeah. So would Swahili be close to Hebrew since it was spoken by the Bantu people before Arabic influence? That's a great question, Hebrew. I myself have Bantu blood in me, which is why I know I'm from the tribe of Yahuda. But you know, you're stumping me with that one. I don't know. I'm not a linguistic person or a linguist. I just know a little bit of Hebrew. I'm still learning it. And but as far as Swahili and how it connects or correlates with Hebrew from back in the past, I have no idea. But that would be interesting to look into. Dion, I got the one that I just showed you guys. That one I looked up on images off of Google Chrome by putting in Paleo Hebrew chart. The reason why truth in farming, the reason for that again is because this is, hold on one second, I gotta put this puzzle piece in here for a TT. Okay. The reason being is because, again, this is what is called modern what they call modern Hebrew. You can see it up here. And what they call modern is actually old, but it's not as old as the Paleo Hebrew, which are these over here, the last two here on the first two columns, I should say. Okay. And the one that we see mostly is this one here, the middle. Oops, I done hit the wrong one here. This is actually a chart. We can go through this one of these days, but it just shows how the mother whore made all these different denominations. But anyways, let me go back here. Okay. This is the one that is used when we see what we call Paleo Hebrew, because right here you see the Hey for the first letter in the father's name, the Paleo Hebrew. This is what it would look like in the earlier Hebrew, as they're saying, which is more the pictograph Hebrew. Okay, this is what we would consider pictograph. So it looks like an ox head, which is why it's called an ox head. Okay, and then this was the foot, hence why they call it the foot. This was the door, which is Dalet. But this here are people, the Hebrews, they started writing their letters like this when they were in captivity in Babylon, when Nebuchadnezzar took them into Babylon. That's when they picked up that lettering system.